All right. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. If there's anyone watching right now, we appreciate your patience. But yeah, Rich and I are going to break down Doc Rivers' fraudulence. We're going to break down the Bucks' heartbreaking loss. But Rich, first and foremost, you just finished up your college career, man. How are you doing? What's life looking like for you right now?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me on. And I think referring to Doc's fraudulence is putting it nicely, giving him too much credit. But no, I'm doing really well, finishing up my master's here in the next couple of weeks, and excited for this next chapter of life for sure.
Good deal, man. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Just give me your initial reactions after the game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I at first I said I couldn't believe what I saw, but then I realized Doc Rivers is the coach of that team, and he is known for choking. And I just couldn't believe. I mean, like I said, I could believe, but just unable to break a press. Um, I froze a screenshot before they called the timeout. They had three guys within 9 feet of each other. I mean, one of the first things they teach you in grade school basketball is how to break a press. The one place you never want to break it is in the corner. They throw it into the corner multiple times. Finally, Trent turns it over. They got bailed out by a couple of Hail Marys. Giannis, 7'5" wingspan, saved him a few times. I mean, I couldn't. It was malpractice to say the least. I couldn't believe what was going on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I've always said that Doc Rivers is a guy who's been resting on his laurels of that 2008 championship. Now, what is that? 17 years now? And all
Yeah, I
those
mean,
guys, every single one of those guys were in their early 30s, all the stars of that team. You go Garnett, Pierce, Ray Allen, all early 30s. And then their point guard was one of the smartest players ever to one of the smartest players ever to play was the guy leading the charge. I mean, I could have led that team to a title. And you look at my coaching record these last few years, coaching grade school basketball, it's not good. But I could have led that Boston Celtics squad to a championship. So I think he's been a fraud forever. I think it was a terrible hire to begin with. And yeah, we just got a comment here. It says the downfall of the Bucks started with the Holiday trade. Oh, what do you think of that?
I don't know. I was a Drew guy, although his playoff offense wasn't always great. The problem I had with that trade was they traded for a young point. They traded for a point guard who's undersized and relies on athleticism and quickness to get open. And you just look at the history of basketball; those guys never age well. Besides Steph Curry, who's an anomaly because he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, point guard of all time. But at the time it happened, you knew your window was 1, 2, maybe 3 years, and now obviously the Achilles 20 hindsight's always 2020, but I mean, I didn't see even with a healthy Dame, this team's ceiling was second round, maybe a conference finals berth, but I just don't, especially with giving up the picks too. I didn't like it at the time, and obviously I don't like it now.
Yeah, what do you make of Damian Lillard pushing it to come back? Do you think? I mean, hindsight's 2020, but what do you make of him coming back from a blood clot in a few weeks?
I mean, blood clot's obviously nothing to play around with. I don't understand all the praising he's getting, like he's coming back from a gunshot wound. I mean, he does get paid $49 million a year to play basketball. But I mean, his job is to work as hard as he can to come back. And if the doctors clear him, then I think he should have been. I mean, he did. I mean, I don't. I guess I applaud him for it, but at the same time, it is his job.
Where are you ranking Doc Rivers amongst the coaches in the NBA?
I mean, there's some really bad ones out there. I would say 20, 27th, 28th. What about you?
I think that's generous. I think I'm ranking him at the bottom. But is he? Do you know if he's going to be gone? Like, is there any word that he's going to be gone? You know how the contract situation works.
I know he's under contract for at least 2 more years. I know the optics of a fourth coach in 3 years is bad, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, ownership has to see that this team isn't going anywhere with him.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. What do you think Doc's favorite cereal is? Says James Ring.
Uh,
Do you have any clever responses to that? I
Off the
don't.
top of my head, no.
All right, I agree. Holiday trade started it, but at least we got to see one Bucks title in our lifetime. Yes, and frankly, I think the Bucks were really fortunate to win that title. You might not like that as a diehard Bucks fan, but the way I see it is like, and that's how it works. That's how it works in the NBA, and that's how it works with any championship. You got to be good. The Bucks were very good, but you got to be lucky and you got to stay healthy, and all those things fell in line for that to happen. The way I saw with that championship run is if Kyrie and Harden, if they're healthy, the Bucks don't win a title. That's just the way I see it. I mean, As soon as Giannis, took out Kyrie, it was like the Russian was cut. Now it was time for them to make a run. But yeah, it's just like anything. Like you got to be lucky. You got to stay healthy. And that was the year. Do you think the window is officially closed now with the Bucks?
With this current team, yeah. I also think you can't overlook the catastrophe that is the Kyle Kuzma trade. I mean, that guy out there is just getting cardio. Uh, I know elders at the Y who can score on this guy. I mean, it's ridiculous the stuff he lets happen. I can't stand him. I mean, I knew he was bad. I didn't know he was this bad. Especially, I mean,
Yeah,
I wasn't a
there's
huge.
something to be said about dropping buckets on a crappy team like the Wizards. Like you can put up good
Oh,
numbers on the Wizards, but doesn't really mean anything. I know Middleton couldn't stay healthy to save his life, but I'd rather have him. Hopefully that he could be around for the playoffs and go from there. I from day one I thought the Kuzma trade was a disaster.
give me 41-year-old Ursan over Kuzma. Seriously.
Yeah, man. So your boys of Marzion, dude. How's Marzion handling this right now? Do we need to send a welfare check on him right now?
Probably needs some sort of check. I mean, I know he was in attendance for the game. Hopefully that was, looking back, that's probably a pretty bad investment on his part, but hopefully he's got a safe drive home.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, this summer, the Bucks moving forward, is there any adjustments you want them to make? Like, is there any coach you want them to go after? Or do you want them just to blow it up in the offseason?
I mean, I think honestly, any solution is better than what they have in place. I'd say target a guy like Mike Malone or maybe a Taylor Jenkins who was there 5, 6 years ago. But it's got to be someone who's proven and someone who's on board with what they're committed to in the future here. I wouldn't say blow it up. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It's all centered on 34. Like if you trade him, get as much as you can back for him,
For
obviously.
Lillard?
No, Giannis. But I would say would you trade him for Cooper Flag, the number 1 pick?
That's the route you would go, is you would try to get Cooper Flag for Giannis.
I wouldn't. I've thought about it before, but I mean, I honestly, as much as I love Giannis, I would trade him for Cooper Flag. I mean, he's 12 years younger.
Yeah, well, I just don't think whoever drafts Cooper Flag is going to be on board for
No,
that.
no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, we can return to the Bucks in a second. I want to get your take on a few other things. You're a big Wisconsin guy here. Let's start with the Packers draft. You're a big Matt LaFleur guy. What are your thoughts on the Packers draft?
Not a big Matt LaFleur guy actually, and especially not a Brian Gutekunst guy. I like Golden though. I like his speed. I wish he was a little taller, but I like Golden. We obviously needed a burner and needed a wide receiver one. Hopefully he can turn to a wide receiver one because the supporting cast is decent, but in today's NFL you can't win without a wide receiver one. I think they got some good depth in the later rounds too. But I like the first round pick.
Okay, and then let's talk about Shedeur Sanders for a little bit. What was your take on him sliding? Do you think it was warranted? Did it surprise you?
It was definitely warranted. I mean, anytime your dad is out there saying you won't go to specific teams, like you're the second coming of Patrick Mahomes, and you went 13-12 in 2 seasons, and I mean, I don't know why. And I heard there were character concerns. He walked out of a couple interviews. I mean, I don't see the Shedeur Sanders hype. I think he should be fortunate he got an opportunity. And I'm glad he felt because I think it was humbling for him. And I don't wish ill will towards him, but hopefully it was a reality check. Like, hey, this is the NFL. This isn't daddy ball anymore.
I know, and then Colorado retiring his jersey number after you said he went 13-12. I mean, that's just wild.
One of the craziest things I've ever heard of.
Yeah, man. No, for me, I think a lot of people want to blow it out of proportion and say it's a bunch of things that it's really not. To me, it's that the fact that he isn't a first round talent and he's got first round problems that are associated with him. You have to deal with even more than your regular first round pick. So dealing with Shedeur Sanders, the last thing NFL teams will put up with a lot to win football games. They will bring the scummiest human beings on the planet, but as long as your talents outweigh your problems, you're going to play. But Shedeur Sanders' talent doesn't outweigh his problems. It's as simple as that.
No.
And yeah, so the last thing NFL teams will put up with is a circus with their backup quarterback. Like we saw it with Kaepernick. We saw it with Tebow. Love Tebow, but they're not gonna bring that guy in to be their backup. And I think it's the same thing with Shador. Like these teams don't see him as the franchise guy, and so that's why he slid. I don't think it's anything more than that. Do you?
No, not at all. No, I think it was a real red flag that he's never played for anybody but his dad. Like high school, college, never played. So I think that's a real red flag. And you're right. There's not one specific thing he does super well. He's got decent size, below average athleticism, good arm, not great arm. And yeah, again, 13 and 12 is not exactly. I don't see it. No.
All right, and now that you're a guy who I know isn't afraid to let it fly a little bit, and especially now that you're done hooping for now, you know, you never know what the future holds, but you're done with college basketball. So if you don't mind, Shannon Sharp, I can handle this one. If you want to jump in with anything, feel free. But Shannon Sharp, I just want to touch on this one a little bit. I touched on my live stream yesterday, but this one to me is just unbelievable. And yes, if he's found guilty, if the accusations are true, I hope he gets in big trouble. But there's some very harsh accusations. Who knows if he did or he didn't do it? I'm not going to focus on that. What I'm focusing on is a 54-year-old grown man who's a household name, who's a celebrity. In what world do you think starting a relationship with a 19-year-old OnlyFans girl is going to work out for you? Like, I just the dude, like, I just don't feel bad for him at all. He put himself in this situation. He should just he didn't think with the head up here, man. It's just unbelievable how stupid he is. And I'm not sure if you saw that clip where he was talking about another OnlyFans model. And he's like dancing around, like sticking his tongue out. I mean, just got a wild stuff. But you have any thoughts there?
No, I think it's safe to say Unc has a type. I mean, if that if that IG live video taught us anything last year, I think it's that Unc is willing to get down and dirty. I mean, I don't know. It is a crazy proposition. It makes me think of the whole Bill Belichick thing going on, where his life is being
Crazy.
controlled by a girl who's my age. I mean, that's actually insane to even think about. But yeah, I can't imagine Shannon Sharp when he was 33 thinking in 20 years I'm going to be in a relationship with a girl who's not even born yet. I mean, that's just insane to think. Yeah, still waiting for the facts to come out, but the fact that there was some hush money offered is not looking good for your boy Shannon Sharp. But yeah, that's a tough one. Tough one. I'm not a huge Shannon Sharp guy to begin with. I think he
Neither have I.
talks a lot of nonsense that's not really factually based, and I think he's just kind of one of those personalities who's based for just saying crazy stuff, kind of like his former co-host Skip Bayless and Screaming A. So not exactly upset he's off the airwaves anymore, but we'll see what's coming out.
And yeah, his his HR file apparently is rather lengthy. Like he's got quite the HR file on him, and it was a big risk. It was a big risk for ESPN to invest that much in him, and it sounds like they were this close to giving him $100 million. And I believe as he had his success in media, they wiped off his HR file. They wiped off all the allegations off the internet because with money you can do that a little bit. But now it's coming back. People are finding it out again. Just unbelievable. But he brought up Bill Belichick, and yes, you know these guys they're not thinking with the head upstairs. And you know Belichick. There's two guys, and I think this is a really good question that just came off the top of my head here. Bill Belichick is a guy who had like 5 years ago amongst the most aura on the planet. My question for you is, which guy do you think has lost more aura quicker, Conor McGregor or Bill Belichick?
I think Belichick's actually gotten a little aura, especially from the younger generation. I mean, to be dating a 24-year-old model at his age, I think is some I don't know. I'm not in this group, but some would say it's rather impressive. But I think he's gotten popular with the younger crowd. Maybe the older generation's lost some respect, but I'd have to go with McGregor because I think Belichick's looked at in this new light. What do you think?
Well, that's tough for me. Both guys were like just had ultimate aura and they just fell off a cliff a little bit. But I don't think Bill Belichick being controlled like that. Did you see the clip of him on that? I don't know if it was 60 Minutes where he was getting interviewed, but they asked about how they met, and she goes, "We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that." She is controlling him, and then he's dressed up in like a little sweater that has a hole in it. The dude just he's off his rocker. Like to me, it's not impressive because he's like $100 millionaire. Like, of course, like some gold digger is gonna be into him. Like, it's just for me, that's not impressive at all. I think it's cringy. It's probably not going to work out well for him, like it didn't work out for Shannon Sharp. Like, there's no way on earth relationship with a 54-year-old, 19-year-old is going to work for Shannon Sharp. Same thing with Bill Belichick. This one probably will not end well, or maybe she'll just stick with him. And by the time he kicks the bucket, she'll still be plenty young. So she can inherit his money. So we'll see. A little grim there, but.
What do you think? Over under 7.5 wins for UNC football this year?
I'll take the under.
I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over.
Yeah,
he's the goat.
He's the goat. I don't know. Bill just isn't the same Bill to me, man. He's lost his fastball. He's lost when he couldn't get signed in the NFL after he got canned in New England. That to me, I just think the game has surpassed him, and he's gonna have to adjust. The college game's a lot different than the pros.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see myself turning into a Belichick apologist tonight, but I do think Robert Kraft's bad-mouthing him to every owner didn't help. And when Mac Jones and washed-up Cam Newton are your QBs, it's really hard to win in the National Football League. So, I mean, I don't know. I still think he's still got it.
All right. Well, time will tell. Time will tell. And then let's go we'll dive back into the NBA playoffs for a second here. Who do you have winning it all? Like, Bucks are out. Your home squad. Who do you think's going to win it all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm such a loyal Wisconsin sports fan that I only have fandom for Wisconsin sports teams, and I hate everybody else. But I mean, if I had to lean on one team, I think it's going to be between the Thunder and whoever comes out of that Cavs Celtics. I'm going to go Thunder. They're young, but they went through it last year. They went through the growing pains last year. SGA is the best guard in the league. They got size. The defense is crazy. They're well coached. They're young but experienced too. I think the Thunder are going to take it this year. Celtics are beat up too. Cavs, I'm not a big Mitchell guy, not a Darius Garland guy, so I'm going Thunder.
Dude, low-key, I like Donovan Mitchell shoes. I just wore the hell out of some shoes for the last 4 years. I finally am getting a new pair, but I like his shoes, low-key. But here's what I will say to that. You go, I like the Celtics. I like the Celtics coming out of the East. For me, like, I'm a physicality and an age guy. I'm not you can't be over the hill, but I like teams that are grizzled, veteran, that have been there before. So I'm not going to go with OKC. I got the Clippers coming out of the West. It's gonna be Clippers Celtics. That's my pick. If they get by the Nuggets, because the Nuggets are tough. But I'm a huge Harden man. I tell you what, Harden's still looking good. He doesn't dunk like he used to, but everything else still looks pretty similar, man. I'm a big James Harden guy.
I don't know if you're familiar with his basketball when it comes to April and May then over the last 15 years. 16 years, geez.
Oh, I don't think you're aware of what he did in 2018 against the Warriors when he was about to beat the super team. He had Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, all in their primes on the ropes. And if Chris Paul doesn't go down, James Harden leads that Rockets team to a victory over the most undefeatable dynasty in basketball history. So for me, that made me a fan of James Harden forever. What he did in 2018 made me a fan of him forever. Like I will let him get away with all the drama he's caused, all the stuff he's done. I let him get past solely because of what he did in that 2018 finals. And yes, I know Game 7, it was a disaster. Game 7 was terrible in that 2018 Western Conference Finals.
When it comes to Harden, you got to be specific because there have been quite a few where he hasn't shown up.
Yeah, well, he showed up. He showed up in 2018. And the way he played, I really haven't seen a performance like that. It was really, I mean, he had Chris Paul as his sidekick, but it was really him leading that Clippers squad. Not that Clippers squad, that Rocket squad that probably would have been Golden State. Like that, to just even be like in the conversation to beat that team, I think it's a hell of an accomplishment. So I think Harden's going to surprise people. I think Kawhi still looks like the same old Kawhi to me that we saw like 6 years ago. Now that he's healthy, Harden still looks really good. Outside, he doesn't dunk like he used to. And I think Zubac down low is hitting his prime.
I love
Nick
him.
Batum, don't get me started on Nick Batum. Playoff Nick Batum's a problem. Even though he can't really move anymore.
No, he cannot.
Yeah. So I like the Clippers. I like the Clippers. But yeah, man. Well, let's see. Is there anything else off the top of my head here? So you got the Thunder or the Celtics in the championship. And who are you picking out of those two?
Thunder,
if you had to pick?
Thunder.
Thunder?
Yeah, Celtics are old, getting old, a little beat up. Yeah, Thunder for sure.
Thunder. Okay. Okay. They're not too young.
No, I mean SGA's year 7, Hardenstein's year 8. Caruso's got a chip, he's got experience. No, not at all.
Okay. Okay. And then we can pivot back to the Bucks. I think we'll wrap it up here in a little bit. But we pivot back to the Bucks here real quickly. Damian Lillard. What do you think? His career is toast moving forward?
I mean, I don't think it's toast. I mean, we've seen guys come back from the Achilles. He's definitely not going to be Dame time again. But I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think he'll be toast. Hopefully he could come back around playoff time next year if the Bucks are with whatever their plan is. But I mean, it's up to him really. He'll be 30, 35 this summer, so 36. But I mean, that's pretty old. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's done, but it's going to be up to him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And then I think I asked this before, but I don't even remember. Is it feasible for the Bucks to get rid of Doc Rivers, or is that not a thing?
I mean, I think you always can. It's a matter of if you just want to buy him out, what is buyout? And I honestly, I would even donate to the buyout fund for Doc Rivers. I mean, I will help pack his bags and get him out of Milwaukee because he makes me miss Larry Drew from Giannis's rookie year, and Larry Drew was bad. But I think you can. Yeah, there's always a solution, especially with the coaching market this year. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of really good names. I'll bring Coach Bud back too. Like I'll bring Bud back.
I mean, obviously Budenholzer would have been better than Griffith or Doc, but at the time, were you a fan of them letting go of Budenholzer?
Not at all. No, I mean it took an insane out of body experience by Jimmy Butler and a cheap shot by Kevin Love for the Heat to beat the Bucks. And people forget about that. Jimmy Butler just left his soul for a playoff round, and Giannis didn't play in at least 2 of those games. But no, I'm a Bud guy. Bud helped turn this franchise around, and I think he gets a bad rap. And this year in Phoenix wasn't on him either. It was a Brad Beal poor roster construction experiment.
Yeah.
If you could target one coach, who would you want?
I want Malone. I think Malone can
I like
coach.
Malone. Yeah, I like Malone.
And you know who's a guy who I also like, and I talked about this one yesterday, is I like James Borrego, if you remember him.
Yeah, from the Hornets. Yep.
For the Hornets. Like, I like the fact that guy's not opposed to disciplining, not opposed to disciplining players, or like not just handing the keys over to players who aren't ready. Like, he held LaMelo Ball and those guys accountable, and they ended up getting him fired. But he can coach. Like, Borrego can coach, and I watched a lot of the Hornets when Frank Kaminsky played for the Hornets. Like, it was Frank, and Frank was like 28. He was like in his prime. And I remember Borrego wouldn't play him. And I thought Frank could help that Hornets squad. And I was like, okay, screw this guy. But I watched the team and I was like, this team can hoop. And then just moving forward, I like that he didn't just like let LaMelo Ball have free reign. He made him earn it like the old days. And then, yeah, it just that always rubbed me the wrong way. And I feel bad that Cooper Flagg's likely, there's a good chance he's going to get drafted to Charlotte. Like, that just sucks.
Yeah.
And like LaMelo Ball, it's unbelievable the team they've surrounded LaMelo Ball with. Like, you have Bouknight, you have Miles Bridges, you had all these guys. And there's other guys who did stuff too. I don't even remember their names, but like other guys who are in trouble with the law. And it's just unbelievable that that's how the direction the Hornets went to. So I feel bad. Do you think Cooper Flagg gets drafted to Charlotte? You know, despite that franchise being rather disorganized, you think you'll still thrive there?
Honestly, I mean, if you look at the talent, if a starting 5 of LaMelo, Flagg, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams, and Bridges, I mean, that's
Brandon Miller, that's the other one. Brandon Miller, the guy who delivered a murder weapon to shoot a pregnant mother in college.
And then did the pat down handshake 2 days later.
Yeah. Wait, what was that?
He did remember the pat down handshake 2 days later? He got patted down for a weapon.
Yes. Yeah. So Miles Bridges, that's the one I was forgetting. So Miles Bridges, Bouknight, who, if you guys want to look that up, what James Bouknight did, and then then Miller. Like, and I think there was another guy or two who was getting in trouble. So I just that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. But yeah, sorry to interrupt, but just unbelievable. That's the direction the Hornets have went into.
Let me ask you this real quick. Would you take John Tonje on the Bucks next year? Do you think you think his game will translate to the NBA?
I mean, I do think his game can translate, but I I think that'd be great for him to play next to Giannis if Giannis is still there. You know, he can just spot up and then be a guy who can shoot open threes next to Giannis or a guy who can slash through the hoop. But yeah, I would say I think his game translates because he can score from all three levels. He can handle the ball really well. He's physically solid. I mean, he's 6'5" and he's over 220 pounds. And we saw the punch downs he had on guys this year. He's just a late bloomer. And like it just took a minute for his game to develop, but he's not as old as people think. Like
No, and he's
he
a lot
just
more.
turned. What was that?
Yeah, he's a lot more athletic than people realize too. Like he's quick, twitchy. He's a lot more athletic than people think.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone. I mean, I just no one saw this coming from him this past year. But no, I would like to see John Tonje on the Bucks because I'd love to see him in a situation where he's next to Giannis. I mean, I think that's the best situation for anybody. Or I think the Heat have kind of turned into that franchise where like any player who goes there is going to get like every ounce of talent squeezed out of them. So I'd like to see him play for the Heat too. I think that would be cool. Alice, answer this. Do you think Tyler Hero, if he plays for any other franchise, do you think he could do what he's doing with Miami right now?
I think so. Yeah, I mean he's a crazy for all the theatrics and all the other stuff. He's a crazy hard worker. He's always been that way, and I think he's a really gifted scorer. Um, I would definitely take him on the Bucks in a heartbeat, and I would take I
I
think
hate
he's
that.
really you're not a fan.
No, I don't like Hero. I don't
So
like Hero.
who's the best active player from Wisconsin in the NBA right now? And if you say who
Well,
I
it's
think you
either
might
Hero or
say,
Halliburton. I
no,
mean,
no, no, no.
well,
Jalen
it's one of the
Johnson,
two. Who am I
Pods,
missing?
Jalen Johnson, Pods.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, I would go Hero. I would go Hero, but I don't
Yeah,
like him.
yeah. What does she like about him?
I just think he's really stupid. Like that's it. Like I just and I think that's a superpower. I think
Yeah,
I think he's not the brightest bulb, and he doesn't even like think about how big the moment is. I think he just goes out there and he flows and he will shoot a big shot and he won't think twice about it. He's super confident. So yeah. I just think I don't think he's the brightest bulb, and two, I think he tries acting like something that he's not, and he's done that for years now. So that's why.
no, I respect that. I can definitely see that from another point of view. I just have seen him from a young. He's really talented, and he's always scored and won whatever level he's been at. So I mean, but I can see how he can irk some people too.
Did he wait? So you're only a year younger than him. Did you play him growing up?
Yeah, I played him in high school a little bit in fall in some fall leagues and saw him in AU and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, he's not even the best athlete that's come out of Whitnall. So.
if you were referencing Joel Stave, then I can't take whatever you're gonna say serious.
Oh, all I gotta say is Joel Stave ran a solid 4.840 at 250 pounds, 6'5", and he jumped a 33-inch vert, which isn't bad for a 6'5", 250-pound quarterback. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I bet he lifts more than Hero.
I mean, did Stave even attempt to pass in the NFL?
Yeah, he had a nice touchdown in the preseason, man.
Right,
Beautiful,
right.
beautiful
I think
stuff.
I think Hero had 38 in the conference finals as a 19-year-old in the NBA. I think.
Yeah, you can't go wrong either way. I think it's a horse apiece,
Yeah, I'm not sure if you want to talk Badger quarterbacks and how underwhelming they've been since Russell Wilson. I think we could be here all night.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Stave, of course. Outside of Stave.
You were a Hornibrook guy. Don't act like you weren't.
I wasn't a huge Hornibrook guy. I was I rooted for him, and I always root for when I feel like people reach like a threshold where everyone's just piling on them. Then I will start rooting for that guy, like kind of just to go against the crowd. So he was limited arm strength. He was a limited quarterback. He was a
Was.
limited quarterback. So, and he wasn't athletic, and he had limited arm strength. Just not a good combination.
Not a good
So,
combination at all. No, no.
yeah. Well, off the top of my head, I don't have anything more to discuss here, unless you are thinking of anything. But yeah, Rich. Well, I'll just ask you for your own moving forward. What's next for you after your playing career here?
Yeah, obviously stay competitive in some local men's leagues. Hoping to be a coveted free agent here this next cycle. But no, just been looking forward to moving back home here and then finishing up school and then looking for looking to enter the real world here in the next few months and get a job around the Milwaukee area.
Okay, and then yeah, college. You've been in college for a minute now. How many degrees do you have now?
After I think 3 more weeks, I'll have two.
Let's go. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations, man. Congratulations. Been fun watching your journey. Had a lot of fun rooting you on. But yeah, we'll wrap it up tonight. I'm sure we'll bring you back on for another live stream. But yeah, appreciate you stopping by, and we'll talk more later.
appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir.